3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Mark Roberts.
Hi,
Yeah.
I'm Jonathan Rogers
Hello.
from Grinding Gear Games. Welcome to GGG Live.
Hello.
Today we're going to show you an exclusive reveal of Path of Exile Mirage, which is coming out 1 week from now on March
Za
6th.
tydzień.
Twitch drops are enabled on today's live
Są
stream,
dropy też u mnie,
so you'll be
coś.
able to claim your Mirage weapon effect by
Można
following the
u mnie też
instructions
dostać
below.
dropy.
Now first things first, let's roll the trailer for Path of Exile
I leci trailer.
Mirage.
Teraz cicho.
The Jinn. They were bound to serve, but not to suffer. The Aphrodite assault our lands, trapping my Jinn in it. Break their chains, rescue them, and you will be granted a wish.
Oho. To jest Mirage'owie, też cały liter. Morality. Traditional bosses. Czyli bicie mobów w
An
kółku.
ancient evil yearns for his freedom.
Wybieranie bonusów.
We must keep him in the dark.
Oho! Dobra. Atlas Wait! Powraca stary Atlas? Co tu się dzieje? Dobra, teraz może będzie bardziej dopasowana głośność trailerów do mnie, ale nie wiem, czy widzieliście, ale będą aktywne gemy z wbudowanym supportem już w siebie.
In today's stream, we'll take you on a deep dive into Path
Okay,
of
teraz
Exile
za cicho.
Mirage, where you'll unravel ancient mysteries, unlock new powerful rewards, and become part of the eons-old story of the Winter Sekima. There are also significant in-game changes coming alongside Mirage, including a progression of the in-game storyline, a new in-game Atlas system, and as always, new rewards to match.
Ty, już zmiany
After that,
Atlasu.
we want to talk about the slew of new Holy Templar skills and supports, as well as an additional Ascendency class option added to the Scion, which some of you may find familiar. Next, we'll cover our new supporter packs, and then lastly, have a live Q&A session, where Ziggy D will ask Path of Exile game director Mark, as well as game designer Octavian, your questions from Twitch chat. After the live stream, we'll drop the full patch notes at 11 AM NZT or 2 PM PST.
Okej, czyli
live.
jeszcze dzisiaj patch notesy.
So let's get started. I'll hand things over to Mark to introduce the new league.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Mark Roberts, Game Director on Path of Exile.
Tak, nowa Ascendencja będzie.
In Path of Exile Mirage, you'll be taking on the Aphrodite, a sect of desert-dwelling necromancers who have lingered in the shadows for centuries. They are outcasts of outcasts, with no home or promised
Czyli
land.
pomagamy nekromantom.
Instead, they seek their sovereignty through darker means. The Aphrodite have captured the souls of Jinn throughout Rayclast. They are killing them, sapping their energies for purposes unknown. You must fight your way past the Aphrodite's necromantic creations to find the captive Jinn.
Czyli ratujesz dżinów.
Here, Varashta, an ancient Marakith sorceress, has been doing what she can to protect the Jinn, but she needs your help to free them.
Czyli ratujesz jakichś dżinów.
After successfully
Pomaga ci w tym
defeating
jakaś
them, you will
czarodziejka.
then be asked by Varashta to enter the astral realm and break the tether trapping the Jinn there. This gate to the astral realm is a mirage, an imperfect copy of the area around the captured Jinn.
Wchodzisz w portal i tu się zaczyna encounter, okej.
When we say an imperfect copy, we mean that quite literally. Hold tight, because this leak mechanic has some serious implications for juicing areas.
Oho,
We'll get to that in a moment.
Ma być ostry.
Varashta can augment the magic of the Mirage further, as she allows you to enter, giving you the option to choose one of 3 wishes before you do so.
What is your desire?
These wishes are modifiers
więcej map.
that will apply to the Mirage area, and have some pretty potent
Okay.
outcomes. There are wishes that grant extra rewards, such as the wish for glyphs, which causes all portal and wisdom scrolls in the
A, że
Mirage
scrolle
to
zmieniają się w
instead
orby na
drop as
przykład,
other
dropiąc. To
currencies.
śmieszne.
Or wishes that will spawn rewarding enemies, such as the Wish for
Coś jak
Avarice,
odwrócone
which
ultimatum.
replaces a number of packs in the area with
Tylko
gilded
pozytywy zamiast
enemies
tylko
that
negatywów.
convert their equipment drops to gold.
Fajne.
And wishes that can grant you extreme power while inside the Mirage, such as the Wish for Souls,
Cannot die! O,
the
co
Wish
jest?
for Godhood, which allow you to consume the souls of your enemies, or make you completely unkillable, while within the Mirage, of course.
To może być niezłe na HC.
Each
Nieumieranie.
wish is also marked with the sigil of one of 3 powerful djinn: the Sand Djinn, Fire Djinn, or Water Djinn. Depending on the sigil chosen, monsters within the affected Mirage will have a small chance to drop one of 3 new coin currencies:
Okej, 3 nowe
a
orby.
coin of knowledge, coin of power, or coin of skill.
Aha!
Each of these coins can be used on a max-leveled skill gem,
Pa!
corrupting it and augmenting it with a random support that matches the
Koruptujesz
color of the
dodatkowy
coin
support do
used.
swojego gema aktywnego.
Only one skill that is
Zajebiste.
imbued this way can be socketed into a given equipment item at a time, meaning you cannot have 2 imbued skill gems in your body armor, as an example.
Choose what you wish
That's one of the rewards, but let's get back to the area-to-area mechanic.
for you.
Czyli będą
Once
chase
you've made
gemy
your choice of
aktywne.
wish,
Zajebiste.
enter the Mirage and fight your way through the monsters and astral hazards to find the tether holding the djinn. Shatter this chain to free the djinn, step by step weakening whatever dark plans the Ufarud may have for Rayclast. Wishes are not the only value a Mirage has to offer to an enterprising exile. As we mentioned earlier, Mirages are an imperfect copy of the area the djinn occupies in Rayclast, and it will copy almost anything,
Czyli
as
skopiuje
long as it's
mechaniki
within the
ligowe, które są w
domain of the
środku?
djinn.
Pokaż.
Mirages created
A,
from an
obok jest
endgame
Legion.
map, for instance,
On wejdzie do środka.
will have all
I tu też jest
Scarab,
Legion kolejny.
Atlas, and map modifiers
Ja
the area
pidi.
had.
To przecież do juicowania to może być
Mirages
faktycznie
created next to a
powalone.
strongbox will have a new strongbox ready for you to open. Blights can be defended again,
To jest mocne.
legions fought once more, and so on.
To dłużej się mapki
Effectively,
będzie robić.
You get a portion of your map to play a second time.
Ale zajebisty
And
koncept.
everything you did to enhance the content of that map applies in the Mirage too. These recreated copies of League mechanics, however, have been warped into reality by the power of the Mirage. And this has some side effects. For one, a recreation may not be perfect. The factions of a legion may differ from the one the Mirage copied. Or the variety of strongboxes may change. More importantly, the mechanic may be empowered
Oho, może
with new
zempowerować
threats
mechanikę
and
w środku.
rewards that are customized to each mechanic
Opalescent
and are only
strongbox.
available when doing that mechanic in the Mirage. For example, ultimatums recreated in Mirages will have new threatening modifiers added to the usual pool. Restless Ground can raise slain
Czyli
enemies to fight
wszystkie
again,
mechaniki, które są odwzorowane
or
przez
Quicksand will
Mirage,
grasp at your
mogą
ankles.
mieć jakieś nowe elementy,
As a
nowe
reward
nagrody.
for these new threats, Mirage ultimatums can provide the new Sinistral or Dextral catalysts. These
Okay.
catalyze jewelry with increased effect of either prefix or suffix modifiers. As you can imagine, there's a lot of potential here.
To może będą jakieś nowe olejki.
Another example is that Calgaren
Nowe tajne
ore recreated
emblemy.
in the Mirage has
Okay.
a chance to be replaced by a thaumaturgic hourglass, a powerful magical device that your Calgaren friends can mine in order to obtain vast quantities of thaumaturgic dust. Blight encounters recreated in Mirages have one of their lanes replaced by Ufarud enemies, infested with Blight. This lane can reward a new base type, the Cord Belt. The implicit of this belt allows it to be anointed,
O,
causing it to grant a passive tree
a
notable
to
of
zajebista
your
baza.
choosing.
Belcik, które można anointować.
As a quick note, Imprisoned Djinn will generally be near the content they can empower in the Mirages, so you don't need to worry too much about getting lucky with where your content generates in an area. As the campaign
a ten
doesn't
dżin to
generally
jest
contain
waraszta.
too much additional League
Tak
content
jak
for the
Płetwa masz
Mirages to
dżinów
empower,
waraszta.
we've gone and added a whole bunch that will force spawn near the Djinn. so your campaign experience will double down on being more action-packed and rewarding.
O, a
Now, of
pokaż nowe
course,
unikatki.
if you're traveling through mirages, encountering new enemies, and slaying them, you can expect to find some new uniques. The Ufarood are not only torturers, but thieves, and have over the centuries stolen away priceless Maraketh artifacts. Using their powers of rot
Ale
and
secik.
disease, they have twisted these items to suit their own
Jak
purposes.
z Eldena jakiegoś wygląda.
Flesh Render is one such artifact, an ancient and exquisite Maraketh blade that has been tarnished and befouled.
Mieczor podpoizony.
Its rusted and jagged edge is perfect for poisoning and withering your enemies. However,
Łatwo nakładać
Virashta
weavery.
has in her command the power to restore these once lost Maraketh treasures to their former glory. Acquiring a coin of restoration by slaying monsters in mirages allows any unique obtained from the Ufarood to be transformed into its Maraketh
Oho.
counterpart, its glorious original form.
Czyli możesz...
Flesh Render, for example, transforms into Sky Sunder,
Aha, możesz
the
przywracać je
original
do
Maraketh
poprzedniej
blade
formy,
that
tak jakby.
radiates with the glowing heat
Okay.
of the desert sun. When you ignite monsters, Sky Sunder reflects that ignite back to you,
I ten poisonowy
which
zmienia się w
proliferates to
ignite'owy.
nearby enemies in a massive area.
W jakiś
If you
potężny
meddle with
AOS
the
and
affairs
ignite.
of the Ufarood for too long, though, you may draw the ire of the Mirage League's new endgame boss, Suresh of the Weeping Black.
Okej.
Suresh also has a set of powerful, exclusive
Pewnie będą mu
items.
się losowały
Yours for the
shriny.
taking, if you're able to defeat him. So that's the Mirage League.
Ty! Będziesz
Now,
mógł mieć belta,
To
który
face all
daje
the
ci
new evils,
100% crit
you might
chance'a.
want some righteous skills.
To pojebane akurat.
Some holy skills. In 328, you'll have access to a slew of new options to bring divine devastation and return the faithless to their rightful graves.
To może być powalone.
We're also introducing some supports to go with them, as well as some new transfigured gems. Let's go over a few examples. With holy hammers, you slam the ground to call down a hammer of justice from the sky.
To widzieliśmy ten skillek już, no.
If this hits an enemy, an additional holy hammer will cascade forwards, which itself can further
Nie no, nie
cascade
wierzę, że będzie
and so
Immortal
forth.
Shrine. To niemożliwe.
Expending a power charge when using the skill will call down an additional 2 hammers,
A to
which can
śmieszne.
also cause cascading
Taki
slams.
ala
The
Hammer
more
of
numerous
Gods
your foes,
się prokuje, jak masz
the
power
more
charge'a.
instruments of holy judgment. Sweep is an old skill. In fact, it is so old that it's one of the very first skills ever
Reworkują
implemented in
sweepa?
Path of Exile, over 15 years ago.
Ponad 15-letni skill
It's
mówią.
been long overdue for some attention. With 328, it has been reworked into Holy Sweep.
Aha!
This skill converts some of your physical damage to
fajne
lightning,
wygląda.
with shiny new effects to match.
Rework sweepa w taki
Some enemies
paladyński
struck by
skill.
the initial sweep will have hammers of light batter them from
Ty,
above.
zajebiście wygląda w sumie.
These hammers cause area damage where they land, so clustered enemies are demolished by repeated impacts.
Poger
When
całkiem.
successfully hitting an enemy with Holy Strike, you'll summon forth a floating holy armament.
Ty, jak
glowing
Mirage
mace
Archer,
that
tylko dla
follows you
Melasa
closely.
trochę. To śmieszne w sumie.
These weapons are minions, and will attack with Holy Strike themselves whenever you do. These holy armaments will copy the stats of your main hand weapon to
To
deal
jest
their damage.
odpowiedź dla Paladyna w Diablo 4, widzę.
Stand against your foes with
śliczne.
Shield of Light, a retaliation skill which will allow you to unleash a cone of holy light upon enemies after blocking a hit with your shield.
Okej, czyli to jest... Co, to jest
Additional
automatyczne,
cones
jak
of light
blokujesz?
will also pour forth from your nearby allies when you hit with the skill, allowing you to recruit your holy army to create purging light.
Aha, że przeciwnicy, których zabijesz, tym
Divine
dołączają do ciebie,
Blast
tak?
emits a beam of holy light from your shield,
A, bo jest
coalescing
retaliate
into
skill,
a
dobra, dobra.
hovering ball of energy. A few moments later, this unstable orb bursts, exploding outward with divine power. Hallow supports melee attacks, causing them to inflict a new debuff, Hallowing Flame.
Co to jest? Halloween Flame.
Hallowing Flame builds up as charges on enemies, getting consumed when attacked. Consuming a stack of Hallowing Flame gives the attack that consumed it a significant amount of extra fire damage. But only those who did not inflict the Hallowing Flame are able to consume it.
Okej.
Perfect for those of you who enjoy a more supportive playstyle with your army of holy sentinels.
A, to jest podbycie supportem. Dobra, whatever.
friends, when they're online. We've also added sources of this debuff to a number of other places, such as unique items, cluster jewels,
To dla ludzi grających w party.
and the Guardian Ascendency class.
Rework Guardiana lekki widzę.
We also have another batch of new
supporta.
transfigured gems, with many of
Oh.
these being variants for gems which
Nowe
previously had
wersje
none.
istniejących gemów. Zobaczmy.
One example is the Shockwave Totem of Authority, which casts its higher damage dealing Nova at your location instead of its own.
A, stawiasz totem, który od ciebie wali OE. To w sumie
You might
śmieszne.
also enjoy
Pseudo-RF
Orb of
kolejne.
Storms of Squalls. These storms warp directly to targets when you use lightning skills, and arc lightning upon doing so. This gives you a mobile storm of destruction that follows you as you dive into battle. We'll leave the rest of the transfigured
Kurde,
skills for
zaczniemy
you to
jakimś
comb
nowym
through in the
skillem,
patch
myślę.
notes.
Jolo.
Speaking of the patch notes, as always, we love to shake up the meta. So we've done a bunch
As
of balance
always.
adjustments
Dobra,
to
nie
a few other
przesadzajmy,
things as well,
Mark.
such as a pass on bloodline classes,
Okej.
expanded the passives available to the Templar section of the passive tree,
Okej.
and various improvements to existing holy theme skills such as
Zmieniają
Static
drzewka
Strike,
też.
Holy Flame Totem, and Dominating Blow.
Dominating Blow Rework. Jakiś tam lekki. Ej, tu się dużo
We're
dzieje.
also doing our usual improvement to some of the least played Ascendancy classes. This time with a focus on Guardian and Warden.
Buffy najmniej granych asynancji. Dobra.
Speaking of Ascendancies, let's talk about the Scion and her new Reliquarian Ascendancy
Let's
class.
fucking go. Nie wiem, czy nie
For
zacznę
those
sobie
that have played
faktycznie
the
nowym
Legacy
Sionem.
of Frisia events, this class will seem familiar. The Reliquarian is a
Ale
learned
fit
Scion
ma.
that has studied history
Fiu,
at the
fiu,
Oriath
fiu.
Academy.
Koleżanko.
She is a part of a secret society of Oriathans, dedicated to collecting and discerning the strange properties of unique
Mamusia
items.
Sion?
All of her passive powers come from these unique items, found from throughout Rayclast. After ascending, first select the power of a unique armor.
Pa, jest
Victario's
relikwiarką.
influence increases the
Która
level of
dostaje
all your
bonusy z różnych
auras
unikatów
and gives them a
wbudowane w
much
ascendencję.
larger area of effect. Or instead, take Kilowava's Bluster, giving you a chance to have extreme elemental resistance against incoming hits.
Relikwiara, no.
Next, pick from a unique weapon power. Widow Hail greatly increases the bonuses gained from your quiver. Or Martyr's Teaching, which causes your minions' critical strike chance with attacks to be equal to your main hand weapons.
Okej. No to na pewno będzie
Lastly,
bardzo
pick
versatile
your
asynancja.
crown jewel, a unique jewelry power. Astral Projector causes Nova spells to cast from enemies rather than from yourself.
Okej.
Or take Astramentus, simply giving you a huge boost to all your attributes.
Mech,
Due
sobie
to
te
all the
atrybuty,
ways
no
you can
dobra.
mix and match unique powers, the Reliquarian
Muszę
has
pokazać
more
wszystkie.
flexibility
Dzisiaj
in
pewnie
how you
zobaczymy.
build it compared to any other Ascendancy
Nie no, nie
class in
wierzę,
the
że tam
game.
jest Mega Blood.
Our plan going forward is for the Reliquarian to not be a static Ascendancy class, and between each expansion, the unique powers which are offered will change.
Mówią, że Reliquarian
If
nie
you
będzie
don't like what she
statyczny
offers this
i co
expansion,
sezon będą
hopefully she'll have
zmieniać,
the
jakie,
power of your
jakie
favorite unique
unikaty
item
będą
in
w
the next one.
Reliquariuszu. Zajebiste.
Time to move on to the endgame.
Zajebiste. Okej, to jest
With
huge
this
W.
expansion, we are aiming to liven
Solid
up the
Reliquarian
endgame,
będzie inny.
giving players new experiences, strategies to leverage, and streamlining or removing the more frustrating tasks. Extensive changes will be coming to the Atlas and how you engage with maps,
Pokaż zmiany
without
endgame'owe, no.
interfering with the beloved core experience that has made mapping so successful.
Coś cię ugotowali.
In the last few endgame updates, you experienced Zana's story. How she
Zana.
helped defeat the Elder, tried to stop exiles from going mad in the Atlas, and faced new threats pouring forth from it. In the most recent expansion, she eventually realized that there was only one way forward: to destroy the
No
Atlas.
rozpierdzieliła Atlasa normalnie.
Zana's recent actions have now weakened the already strained and tattered edges of its realities, reshaping how we interact with the Atlas entirely.
To explain how this changes your interactions with the Atlas, we first want to establish some context while having a bit of a trip down memory lane.
No kiedyś to tak wyglądało trochę.
27 expansions ago, back in
27
Path of
ekspansji
Exile
temu.
3.1.0, the War for the Atlas, we had a mechanic on the Atlas where the Shaper and Elder were
Ale
engaged in war.
nostalgii atak mam.
This manifested as influence regions on the Atlas that affected specific maps. The ever-changing influence regions made the Atlas feel more like a physically connected space,
To był patch
rather than
3.0.
just a fancy way of visualizing a checklist of completed maps. However, one of the main frustrations with this mechanic was that you constantly needed many different specific maps in order to manipulate the influenced regions.
We realized we'd love to again have mechanics that manifest physically on your Atlas, but we'd have to address the issue of always needing those specific maps.
The first major change we'll be making to solve this is divorcing map items from specific areas.
Oho,
As an example,
to ogromna
instead
zmiana.
of having a Mesa map, you will now find, say, a Tier 10 map.
To
To
nie wiem, jak
open
się
a
z tym
Mesa
czuję na
map
razie.
now, just locate and select Mesa on your Atlas, put in your map item, click activate, and you're good to go.
To trochę w stylu dwójki. Trochę nie wiem, jak się z tym czuję na
That
razie.
Mesa may drop a Tier 11 map. You can then immediately return to your map device, which will default to the last map
Znaczy
run,
to jest lepsze
and
niż
then
po
run it
dwójce,
again.
bo możesz
Or choose a
spamować
new
tą
map to
mapę, którą
use it on.
chcesz.
It's your choice. This is one of the many benefits to this change, which is that if you're the type of player who enjoys chaining the same map over and over, or the type of player who prefers to jump around, it is equally easy to do either strategy or even switch between them at a moment's notice. For example, if one day you're farming burial chambers, hoping to eventually get a headhunter from divination cards, and you decide you need a change of rhythm, you can seamlessly swap to your boss farming Atlas tree
No to jest
and
akurat
spam
spoko,
Mesa
że
for
będziesz mógł
peak
łatwo
boss killing
swapować między
efficiency.
różnymi Atlas
Up
stratami.
until now,
Bez jakiegoś
this would have
dużego
required having some
manipulowania.
Mesa maps stashed,
Natomiast-
setting all your favorite maps to Mesa, or doing a whole bunch of trading.
To naprawdę wygląda trochę jak testy
You'll
do
also
po
notice
dwójki.
that the structure of the Atlas has changed. If you haven't played in a while, here's a look at it before and after.
Te niebieskie to rozumiem, że
You will
mapy
now
unikatowe.
begin at the center of the Atlas,
Chyba ta.
with each corner housing one of 4 Voidstone slots. In addition, all content accessed from your map device now exists physically on the Atlas, so you can see everything available in the endgame as you reveal the Fog of War. This also means that all unique maps are now present on the Atlas, including some old favorites that are appearing for the first time. Don't worry though, you don't need to complete Hall of Grandmasters every league. You now gain 1 Atlas skill point per unique map completed, up to a maximum of 10. Given there are around 20
Czyli nie
unique
musisz robić
maps,
wszystkich
you only
unikatowych
need to
mapek,
complete the
tylko
half you
10,
want,
które sobie wybierzesz.
if you can
Okej,
get your
okej.
hands on them. Note, you aren't losing any Atlas skill points.
Okej, tyle samo
These
będziesz
have
miał
been
Atlas
moved
skill
to
pointów,
new
bo niektórzy
places.
piszą minus
And
15.
actually,
Okej,
you can
okej.
get more than before.
A więcej ich będzie w zasadzie.
Due to Zana's actions, Egan now has a new goal and is determined to stop Zana's destruction by making use of a mysterious new discovery.
Okej, dodajesz dodatkowe
Arcane
regiony.
astrolabes. Zana is currently traversing the threads that weave the Atlas together, severing
Ile
them.
tu się dzieje?
With these new astrolabes, Egan is able to trace her movement, but using them causes dangerous side effects. When you use an astrolabe on a map on the Atlas, a shaped region will manifest itself in that quadrant,
Oho!
affecting many of the maps within it. There are many different kinds of astrolabes, and they apply different types of shaped regions.
Ale jaja! To jest trochę
For
redesign
example,
starych atlasów,
an
faktycznie.
abyssal region, which causes all the maps to have an additional abyss. Or a blighted region, which adds a blight encounter.
To jest jak stare influency, tylko masz więcej kontroli, bo samemu je sobie
Completing the
aplikujesz.
content added by the astrolabe will remove the shaped region's influence from that map. Upon doing so, every other map remaining in the shaped region will gain an additional modifier. This means as you progress through the shaped region, maps you
To
run will
może być
become
spoko,
more
bo to
and
jest
more
coś, co
intense,
było, ale tak jakby z rozwiązanym
with the relevant
problemem w starej
mechanic
wersji.
getting more and more juiced. Finally, at the end of the region of maps, once you have successfully rid the Atlas of the shaped region, Egan will take you to one of 4 memory vaults, where there are powerful rewards to be had. He cares only for the knowledge hidden within that vault, so any items are yours for the taking. Each vault is associated with a specific quadrant on the atlas, so you're able to target a certain vault if you're wanting to try get a specific type of
Okej,
reward.
jest dodatkowa opcja target farmingu niektórych
One
rzeczy.
such vault is the Archon's Vault, where you'll be rewarded with powerful unique items. Or the Zealot's Vault, to acquire valuable currency items.
Okej. Czyli decydujesz,
This new shaped region
na
system
czym się
is one that
skupiasz,
promotes
raczej
running
unikaty czy
many
currency i
different
tak
maps.
dalej.
But for players that want to engage with this new system while still wanting to run the same map over and over again, the synthesized stability keystone
Okej,
on
to
the
jest
Atlas
bardzo
tree
ważne.
enables
Czyli
exactly
nadal
that.
jest rozwiązanie dla tych, którzy chcą farmić jedną mapkę w
With all
kółko.
the new endgame
To jest
changes,
to
we
jest
thought it
istotna
would
rzecz.
be also good to mention some handy tips and tricks for
Lubię
quickly
farmić w kółko to
navigating the
samo.
new Atlas. When using the map device, the Atlas defaults to your previously run map. So running the same map over and over is as few clicks as possible. You can right-click unique maps or map fragments in your inventory to automatically open your Atlas to that location with the map already placed and ready to run.
Patrzę
When
na
you
jego
select a
inwentory, czy ma
special
coś
area
nowego, ale
that
nie widzę.
requires multiple items, such as to fight at Zeri or open the domain of timeless conflict, if you have the fragments to access that in your inventory, it will automatically add them to the map device.
A to fajne,
in the
mniej
right
klikania.
spot.
A ciekawe, czy ze stasza może ci wyjąć te fragmenty.
That's the core of the new endgame.
Ale to już może
But
byłoby za
there's a
dużo quality of
lot more
life'u.
endgame changes coming in 3.28. Let's blast through them. Over the last few expansions, we've been working on streamlining the mapping experience. And we wanted to continue to minimize busy work so you can spend more time doing what you love, killing monsters and getting loot. To that end,
Dobra,
we've made a
zainstalujcie
number
loot
of
filter.
changes. We won't get into too much detail, but here's a quick summary of what you can expect to have received adjustment. We've removed cartographer's chisels and
Okay.
map device crafts entirely. The loss of content and loot here has been compensated for in other places.
To W dla mnie. Chisele były niepotrzebnym
Void Stones now grant special
micromanagementem
global
dodatkowym.
bonuses
To na
while
plusy
socketed
dla
on
mnie.
your atlas, including adding the new Originator Void Stone, which enables specific atlas bosses to drop exceptional supports.
Oho!
We'll elaborate more on that in the next section.
Czy oni wprowadzają lineage supporty na
T17
endgame?
maps as you know it have
Z nowym
effectively
Voidstone'em?
been removed. The bosses have been kept around, and they better
Wyrzucili
fulfill their
17!
original purpose of being a gateway to target farm uber pinnacle bosses.
Dobra, to już jest
The
dobry patch.
most annoying
Jeba się
modifiers on
17.
originator maps have been removed or replaced. No more getting turned into a slug for simply using skills. And no more will you be incapable of dealing damage periodically.
Dobra, to jest najlepsze
Petal skills in originator maps have been removed.
Na endgame.
However, some of their effects are
Walcie
now
tier
available
17.
from the altars and memory threads.
Największe gówno
Memory
game'owe to
tiers,
było.
instead of adding a
Wyrzucili
memory
je.
thread to your
Huge.
atlas, will now drop an itemized version of that thread, allowing you to save it for later or trade it at your leisure. We've added new scarabs, such as this Expedition Scarab of Infusion,
Nowe skarabeusze.
which can generate some truly tempting logbooks.
O, pod mega juicing
And for
logbooków, to
those of you
ciekawe.
looking to take on the ultimate one-on-one fight, the Anarchy Scarab of the Exceptional will place a true antagonist level rogue exile threat in your map.
Ty,
Empowered by every type of Wildwood Wisp, possessed by a
Robisz
tormented
giga
spirit,
Exile'ów.
augmented
Dobra,
with
to
rare
będzie na
monster
takie buildy
modifiers,
za
and affected
10
by a
milionów.
shrine, this exile is not to be trifled with.
farma. Avengers level threat.
Alongside that, we've also changed some, such as the Beyond Scarab of Resurgence, which now causes all 3 Beyond bosses to appear when a Beyond boss would spawn in your map.
A, to temu whatever.
On top of that, we've made improvements to a number of weak Atlas Tree passives, such as Pillage and Plunder, which now grants a chance for items dropped by Syndicate members to have a Fractured Veiled mod.
Ja uwielbiam farmić syndykat.
Check
To
out
dla
the
mnie to jest
new
super.
The Paths Not
Będzie
Taken
szansa na
keystone, which means your
strukturowane
maps on
mody.
average will drop twice as many divination cards. But which ones can drop will be a mystery.
Wait,
And
what?
last, but not least, we've also made some changes to
Czekaj, co
King's
było z
March
tymi
shipping,
kartami? Chyba nie
such
doczytałem.
as we've swapped the rewards given by sending ore and crops. I wonder what this new port will send back.
Oho!
Ports will now give more rewards for favored resources. And you can even re-roll them for gold, if they're not offering what you're after.
Okej, to jest
Specific
W.
ports will now reward specific tattoos and rune grafts,
Okay,
making it
to jest
easier
W.
to target the ones you want.
Po pierwsze, jeśli będziesz chciał wysłać statki,
Not
faktycznie
to
będziesz musiał
mention,
robić
the
mechanikę ligową
Calgurans
i
have
będziesz mógł
discovered
bardziej
several
targetować
new,
rzeczy. To są
powerful
zmiany
rune
na
grafts
plus.
for you to get your hands on. Such as the Rune Graft
To
of
jest bardzo
Fury,
na plus.
which causes you to gain rage on using a life flask. And the Rune Graft of Resurgence, which causes Arcane Surge to also grant life regeneration. We mentioned earlier about the Originator Voidstone enabling access to
Jeszcze nikt ma
exceptional
planerów
supports.
wyrzucą z Kingsmarch, szczerze.
So let's get into that, as there's a decent amount to cover. After defeating the incarnations of Fear, Neglect, and Dread, you will obtain the Originator Voidstone. As mentioned earlier, this Voidstone
Maps have a
allows
chance to
new
become
exceptional
Nightmare
support
map?
gems to drop from many bosses across the
Co to jest
Atlas.
kurwa Nightmare Map?
These new supports are an improvement over the old Awakened support system, which is being phased out. Awakened supports have long been a capstone investment for a character,
Tier
but there's
18?
existed a gulf between the more interesting ones, such as Awakened Spell Cascade, which has some additional transformative effect, as opposed to some of the simpler Awakened supports, which just have slightly
Wait.
higher numerical values. Exceptional supports will all be transformative, serving as an additional late-game tool to customize your build around, and extending character customization and creation even later into a build's life.
Okej.
One of the goals here is to provide interesting build choices even at later levels and deep into the endgame. However, we are certainly not aiming to reduce top-end player power with these changes. Exceptional supports will still be super strong. If used well, they will catapult your character even further than before. So, how many are there, and what exactly do they do? There are over 40 new exceptional supports to discover,
Okej.
adding additional enticing drops to bosses that may otherwise have felt not as worthwhile to run,
Czyli 40
giving players
nowych
extra
support
reason
gemów,
to take on those challenges.
ale na bardzo
For
wielkim
instance,
endgame'ie.
from the King in the Mists, we have the Hex Toad support. This support creates areas of swampy cursed
Tworzy
ground,
żaby!
which spawns toads that bounce towards enemies and then explode, dealing chaos damage. From the Uber Elder, we have the Void Storm support,
To wygląda
which
fajnie.
causes your raining attacks to create celestial storms of energy
Ej, to
that
wygląda
grow over time,
zajebiście.
detonating
Celestialowy
as you
skill.
approach for massive damage. Defeating the incarnation of Neglect may win you the Frost Mage support. Similar to the existing Archmage support, you are rewarded for stacking
To
mana
jest
to
Archmage
enhance your
pod cold
spells
spele.
with
To bardzo
extraordinary
zajebiste.
cold
To
damage.
w końcu trochę
We'll teach some
wariety
more of
więcej
these
do
before launch,
stakowaczy mamy.
but there will be many, many more for you to discover.
Ej, to dobre, ugotowali, no.
Keepers of the Flame is coming back. However, we do know that many players have issues with the walls in Hive encounters.
Okej.
In order to address these concerns, we'll be making a number of changes.
Czyli zmieniają
One of the
keepersów.
biggest problems is that walls would block your projectiles, meaning that when a hive randomly spawned in your map, it would make it harder to clear. In order to prevent that, walls and hive encounters will now be destroyed by any damage.
Okej, czyli projectile
But we
niszczą
also wanted to
natychmiastowo
make sure we
walla.
reduce the visual clutter they cause. Hives and their walls are now smaller.
Czyli są
To
mniejsze
allow
i
players
niższe
to engage
obrażeniami.
with hive encounters quicker when they do want to help Aelith, we've added a new Atlas passive which drastically increases the detonation area of unstable burrows, causing them to reliably chain react and destroy the majority of remaining walls. For those who don't want to deal with the walls at all, there's now a pair of keystones that allow you to block hive encounters or unstable breaches, if you want.
O!
Now that this is a
I
core
możesz
league,
forsować,
we
żeby
don't
zawsze
want
mieć
you to
hive'y
have
na
to grow your
przejście.
Genesis
To
tree from
ciekawe.
scratch on every league start. So now, each womb gift slot is already usable by default, and access to the Monastery of the Keepers will be gained by finding Aelith starting in Act 6 Mudflats.
Już w akcie 6? To szybko dosyć.
Now with Atlas Tree and Scarab support, you can have multiple unstable breach encounters active in a single area, for maximum ruckus. Speaking of Atlas
pewno
Tree and
będzie
Scarab
Donek.
support, we've added plenty. Here are a few examples. The Massing Forces Atlas notable grants a chance to have additional unstable breaches in your maps. The Breach Scarab of the Marshal guarantees a breach boss or hive fortress, while the Breach Scarab of the Incensed Swarm replaces all of Aelith's skills with
Tego
Enrage
brakowało,
the
mam wrażenie,
Hive,
w
increasing the
Keepersach,
difficulty
czyli
and reward from hive monsters in all
zwiększenie sobie
subsequent
trudności w pewnym
waves.
momencie na tych breachach.
Graft items will no longer exist,
Nie masz graftów.
but we've moved several of the graft skills to new exceptional supports, such as the Hiveborn support, which summons an army of breach minions to do your bidding when you use a supported offering skill, and the Foul Grasp support, which calls forth a field of grasping
czyli
breach
niektóre
hands when you recall
umiejętności z
brands,
rączek zostały
exploding for
przeniesione jako
heavy
właśnie
lightning damage
supporty.
when enemies approach them.
Czy umiejki. Spoko.
We're looking forward to seeing how these improvements and additions are received, alongside a lot of what Keepers also has to offer. From the new bosses and their bloodline, through to the Genesis tree and its many different crafting options, like Foulborn uniques. Also with its new narrative, we look forward to extrapolating on all of this and learning more about Aelith, the Hiveborn, and its Breach Lords in the future.
That covers all the new content we're adding.
Ej, nie spodziewałem
and
się
that
tak
was a
dużego
lot.
patcha.
From a new
Powalone.
in-game system, several new reward types, new ways to juice maps, all of which you can double up in the new Mirage League, and all that alongside a suite of new holy skills, a new Ascendency class, and an insane amount of new character customization in the endgame. However, an important part of Path of Exile expansions is making sure there is a continued effort to improve quality of life.
Quality of life.
So let's get
To
into
będą
that
chyba
now.
te zmiany, które widzieliśmy, nie?
You can now favorite trades on the currency exchange.
Okej, to
This
też
consists
rzeczy
of
widzieliśmy,
selecting two
ale
currencies
część
that
z
you
nas może
want to
nie
be able
widziała.
to trade between with a single click,
Na przykład można
and setting
sfaworyzować
them as a
handel.
favorite trade.
Aż
Favorite trades will appear by
zbędne
default when
zapomniute?
opening the currency exchange and will still auto-suggest a ratio based on recent trade data. A further improvement to the currency exchange is the ability to open and interact with your stash while you have the exchange window open. Now, when trading in a full set of divination cards, it will automatically be handed in to become the resultant item. If you then turn in another set
Po co robię
immediately,
płetwa?
the reward from the previous set will be
Chcą mieć
transferred to
monopol na
your
gatunek.
inventory directly, assuming there's enough free space to do so. Labyrinth font crafts that previously gave a random transfigured gem now allow you to choose which transfigured gem of that type you'd like to receive.
To jest super, nie?
The
Że będziesz mógł
asynchronous
dużo
trade
łatwiej
item sale
targetować
history
sobie
is now hoverable,
transfigurowany gem, który
with
chcesz na
full
start ligi.
item descriptions of the sold item. When using Divine Orbs, you can now tell exactly which modifiers can be randomized. The ritual icon will now glow if you've got significant
Działają
unspent
dropy,
tribute in
działają.
an area and
Spróbuj
all
F5.
rituals are complete. And a pop-up will appear after the final ritual completion. Also on the topic of ritual,
Numer
you
plus
can now
zapalił.
quick use vessels on completed rituals. Have you ever tried to click a divine shrine, surrounded by enemies, and find it extremely difficult to click? Well, shrines now take priority over monsters
No to
when
taka
clicking in an
pierdółka,
area they
nie? To są
overlap.
takie typ zmiany, że nie wiedziałeś nawet, że tego potrzebujesz, ale jak
Since
dają, to spoko.
324, we've been looking to add new ways to improve the campaign experience, and 328 is no different. This patch, we've added over 20 landmark rooms throughout the campaign, scattered across all 10 acts. Some of these reward some pretty useful stuff, so keep an eye out for the new and unexpected rooms, side passages,
Ponad 20
chests,
zmian w
and
kampanii powiedzieli.
encounters
Ponad
as you
20,
progress
czyli to
throughout
może być na przykład
Rayclast.
100, nie? Albo
We
200,
want
albo
most
1000.
of these to be a
Ponad
surprise,
20.
but we'll show you just one. There is now a small central island in the Karui fortress, all inhabitants of which will
Albo
drop a basic
21,
tattoo
ale
when
też
slain.
może 1000, albo 67.
Next up, we're going to be talking about our new
No to wiadomo,
supporter
teraz
packs.
najważniejsze.
Today, we're launching two new series of supporter packs.
Poka.
The Curator of Wisdom
Oho!
and Iron
Pan
Incarcerator
czarodziej.
packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive
Normalnie
microtransactions.
Gandalfa se robisz.
As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way.
Czekaj, pokaż tego Gandalfa.
The Curator of Wisdom series of supporter
Ej, ten
packs
portal
contains
zajebisty, mówiąc
7
szczerze, ze
exclusive
zwojem.
microtransactions. The Traveling Wisdom back attachment has all the necessary tools you may require to chronicle your journey, complete with a helpful rat friend.
Szczur.
These chronicles
Szczur.
will activate their magic upon identifying items, and will track the number of items identified of each rarity. Just hover the item, or link it in chat to show it
Pieniądze
off.
z konta uciekły.
The Acquired Wisdom unique finisher effect summons an ancient scroll that consumes unique enemies and the knowledge they hold.
Nie lubię finisher efektów, bo
Most
niestety
exiles would
zażygują
struggle
ekran
carrying
efektami.
piles of scrolls while traveling Rayclast, but the Grand Curator of Wisdom armor set is perfect for the adventurous scholar.
Ten kapelusz
Any
fajny,
expert
zagrani
curator
magiem.
knows that scrolls hold more than just knowledge. They also hold power. As you cast spells, the scrolls attached to the armor will burn away, before rematerializing shortly after.
A, że spala ci pelerynkę, jak czarujesz.
It also features a series of helmet variations, so you can get precisely the look you're after. Summon your Scroll Shaper familiar pet to follow alongside you. This
Ptaku,
creature
który się
is
zmienia
formed
w
from
zwój.
folded magical texts and
Gandalf
can
the Druid
shapeshift between
trochę?
different forms. You can think of
Ty, to
this as
fajny,
having
ej!
multiple pets in one.
On się
It
zmienia
can
w parę
fold into a
petów.
fox and then even burn away, reforming into a flying bird.
A to śmieszny pecik.
This series of packs also contains the Scroll Portals, jumbo-sized versions of the Scroll of Wisdom and Portal Scroll that you can make a quick
Jeden z
retreat
fajniejszych
through.
supporter packów, ale też może dlatego, że ja
A
lubię takie
supreme catalogue of knowledge
mniej
can't remain in
świecące
one
się.
place
Nie
for
lubię
too
takiego
long
świecącego
and risk
gówna
being
jak z
pillaged by
azjatyckiego
thieves.
MMO, że masz,
The
nie wiem,
Titan
skrzydła na pół
Apex
ekranu.
Hideout features a colossal titan who carries your base of operations atop their shoulders, constantly moving through a boundless desert. The Iron Incarcerator pack also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
Ale map device śmieszny, what?
The Incarcerator's Restraints
To
back
powalone.
attachment features stockades that were used to
Ja lubię
immobilize
wizualnie te
prisoners
duże
by
map
binding
device'y,
them to
ale one
the
są
earth as they
za
were
mało
tortured
funkcjonalne
for
dla
their
mnie.
wrongdoings.
One są bardziej do wyglądania niż
Shackles
do
envelop
używania.
your choice of torturing device when using the Chains of the Incarcerator weapon effect.
Podsumujemy potem, Jurson.
These chains shatter into links as you batter enemies. Make your way through Rayclast as a walking penitentiary, intimidating your enemies with the elite Iron
Dla fana
Incarcerator
BDSM.
armor set.
Set.
After a long day of tracking down criminals, step into the Iron Maiden portal
Zaraz zobaczymy
to
jak upski.
retreat to your torture chamber. It acts as a great deterrent for would-be intruders. This peculiar creature was a favorite amongst incarcerators. They would be sent into the midst of prison riots to mesmerize and control the toughest of
Ale
minds.
śmieszny Rutu.
Use their talents to charm other players' pets, causing them to abandon their owners and follow in line behind you instead, at least until it wears off. What better way to execute prisoners when your torturing has depleted their value? Harvest their souls to fuel this map device, condemning them to eternal incarceration. Your kills within the map are also recorded based on the rarity of
Nie
the
wiem,
monster.
dla was? Dla mnie zdecydowanie ten pierwszy.
You can choose to
Ten
pin
mag.
an execution session that you're satisfied with on this miniature leaderboard, which is displayed for all that dare enter your hideout. Additionally, all microtransactions from these supporter packs will be made available for use in Path
A
of
to
Exile
wiadomo,
2.
wszystkie też w PoE 2 działają.
Thank you so much for your ongoing support. We're just about
Thanks,
to
Mr.
start
Mark.
the Q&A with Ziggy D. Afterwards, we'll post the full patch notes for Path of Exile Mirage at 11 a.m. New Zealand time, 2 p.m.
Jak wrażenia, słuchajcie? Jak wrażenia?
With release at the end
Bo
of next
powiem
week,
wam, że
our
jedno muszę
community team will
pochwalić,
be
że za
posting
każdym razem
crucial
jak byłem jak,
information you'll
kurde,
need for
to
the release.
brzmi nie do
Keep
końca
an
jestem
eye on the
przekonany,
news.
to potem zarzucali czymś, co rozwiewało moje wątpliwości. Na przykład przez chwilę baliśmy się na przykład, że nie będziesz już chciał spamować jednej mapki, ale pokazali luzik, masz keystone do tego, żebyś spamował jedną mapkę. A w tym atlasie wygląda też na to, że będziesz mógł łatwiej spamować, zmieniać się pomiędzy różnymi strategiami w Emblemie Atlasu, co jest całkiem fajne, zwłaszcza gdy grasz paroma różnymi postaciami i nie chcesz się tradeować o mapki. Te zmiany, te gemy ekscepcjonalowe mogą wprowadzać bardzo dużo jakiegoś takiego odświeżenia, nawet na takim bazowym koncepcie, że na przykład, no nie wiem, że faktycznie ciśniesz na przykład na cold damage'u, cold skillach, zamiast na lightning skillach, na przykład na arcymagu, nie wiem, jakieś pierdoły.